market.
MacBreak, roll one, scene one, take one.
Rolling.
Isn't that nifty?
Yes, don't pull the slate out. Tell me, what is this?
This is a, okay.
I mean, I have this, but I feel so inferior now.
Small.
I do.
Small.
I feel.
And it turns out that the size in this case does matter.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
This is the
so,
Lilliputian version.
Yeah. So what you have here, this is called Movie Slate, and,
Yes.
and we've seen this on these little guys for a little while.
Right.
Well, and we were thinking of developing a slate.
Oh,
we
were?
were really talking about it, and we had done.
Would
some
it be
work on
node-based?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, build some nodes. And
Yeah.
no, so but we were talking about it, and these guys came out with this for the iPad, and I looked at it, and I was like, forget it. We don't want to do it. So what you have here is the thing for people to realize when you're looking at this. So when you're looking at a slate like this, a smart slate here,
Right.
typically runs you. Sorry, I hit something there. Typically runs you about $1,400 if you want to buy one. So these are
the physical one that
the physical one that you snap, and it's and there may be obviously in a traditional set you may want to have one and everything else, but for a lot of us we just want to sync some cameras,
exactly, and not spend $1,400
or $200 for the day or $80 for the day for one that we've for some reason our smart slates have caught fire twice. We're not sure exactly.
I mean,
why.
literally.
Smoke. So anyway, this is cooler.
Yeah.
Not
Oh
so much
yes.
smoke. And so what you have here is all the basic stuff you'd need. You have of course something. And when you pop it in here, you can simply type what you want to put in there. All of this stuff is really quick and easy to to throw.
No more dry erase.
No more dry erase, none of that. And it's much more readable. I mean, that's one of the big issues that you get into is just being able to read it easily. Of course, you have it's a straight layout. It's the same layout that you have. Now, there's a lot of settings here. So you can go in here and you can change the colors. You can change the, all those other things to make it work. Because sometimes you might want a darker slate or a lighter slate or whatever. So you can change all that stuff. Now, one of the things that's interesting, and to set it, this is a little lock here. If I open this up, what that allows me to do is actually turn it this way, and it'll turn up like that. Ah. So if for some reason I want to hold it that way, I can do it that way. Can't do that with a regular slate.
No, you can't.
and so the and we should say I think we have to in the sense of full disclosure, paid for it. So I bought this.
Okay.
They haven't given us. They're not. These aren't advertisers. They haven't given me anything for free. This is just a great application that we wanted to.
And it's reasonably priced too.
It's $20 for this. For $50, you can add syncing to a master clock.
So you're talking about actual jam syncing, because when this came out, it was great because you have all these DSLRs or whatever the case is, and you want to bring them together, and you're just like, okay, everyone stare at this, and then when you're ready, we'll pop. Or really, what you're looking at is just the running time code.
Right.
So you could actually
once you have this running time code, the reason that this is important is that if you have everything jammed to it.
Right.
So you have your sound, your cameras. Everything is jammed to this time
but not just visually. You're talking about actually
the code. Well, which means, and that really has to do with being able to jam it to the sound.
Sure.
Because visually we can put these in front of each camera. We can go into Final Cut and go into Modify Time Code and just type whatever number we see there. It doesn't even have to be the same number for every camera, just any number, and it'll reset all the time code and they'll all be sunk. But the audio is one extra piece, and so you want to be able to put that in. You can set it, of course, to the right frame rate. But the key is how do you jam this to a professional system? Well, it turns out that, time code is old. We've had this for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just audio.
Just a pulse. Yeah.
So what they did is you just put it right into the headphone jack.
Oh, how sweet is that? No USB or anything like special adapters?
Just pop it into the headphone jack. And it's funny. It's something that we had come up with, and we were very sly about talking about it because we were like, oh, we're going to put that in there. That's going to be the secret weapon. And then, of course, they figured that out. So it's just a great little app. There are a couple things that I wish.
Yeah. What are the downsides? I mean, okay, so this is $50 versus $1,400, so that's huge.
Good savings.
But why would you want the other slate versus
the reason you want the other slate is we haven't tested this for accuracy. So in a short period when you're syncing cameras, it's probably fine. But if you let it run all day without a crystal that's really checking, constantly checking and rechecking it, you may get to a point where it's a couple frames off by the end of the day because it's using the clock that may not be as accurate in the iPad because it doesn't usually have to be frame accurate for a whole day. So you may have to rejam it, periodically, which most people do anyway. They mostly rejam their sync. They don't trust even a Denicky slate that long, although it is. We've tested Denicky slates for 8 hours and it never loses a frame. So so that's one thing. People may not like the glare. you know, that's on here.
But there's films you can put over it too.
There's films you can put over it, and so on and so forth. Some people are going to want to write; they're not going to want to type.
Sure.
Although I think that there's a huge advantage to not having to deal with that anymore. We've started using this for our productions, like you saw there, and I don't want to go back. You know. Now the other thing is that there is something about having that physical clacker that's kind of fun. It also is,
especially right in someone's face. Right there in front of their nose.
Yeah, right in their nose. And
pop
you can,
that down.
yeah, but the other thing is that it is not like you can change the colors of these.
Right.
But projected color doesn't mean anything.
Right.
What you need is reflected. So having a physical one means we could have, if we had a physical, what I really want is a physical box for it that I can slide it in, and it does go into the USB. So when I close this, it stops here, but it also has the color pieces on. That's the
case makers. You're on notice.
There you go. Red Rock Micro. This is your next product. So anyway, so the and then this could go away. We'd have a little bit more screen resolution, and we could just have this physical thing that we stuck this into. Even if that cost $100, on top of this $70 for the whole jam syncing and everything else, with my iPad, I could buy an iPad and it would still be cheaper than buying a regular Smart Slate. So there's a couple things about it that I think that they're going to be a little challenge for people. But this is not just a little dinky, fun little thing. It actually is very, very useful, and so I would highly suggest it.
So like for production, iPad is really becoming a milestone, and then for us here at MacBreak Studio,
we've reached another milestone.
We have, and I want to bring some friends out.
I don't want to cry.
Friends.
I swore I wasn't going to cry.
Don't cry, it's okay. We have reached our 100th episode with Steve Martin, Mark Spencer, Alex Lindsay, and myself, Brian Gary.
Look at that, there we go.
100.
I have to capture
this moment.
Capture this moment. Shoot the audience.
Yeah, there we go. I have to shoot the audience. This is just awesome.
And I have to say, this is has been our most successful MacBreak series because of you guys. The thing is it's been really, really great to have you guys take over, get me out of the way. I get to come in and play every once in a while. But both the stuff that you guys bring personally, and then the other thing is the people that you bring in and the content that's covered. I just don't think there's any content like this on any podcast about professional stuff. So I really want to thank you guys for the contribution you've made to MacBreak Studio.
Group hug.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. Group hug. And thank you guys for watching and making this a very popular podcast, MacBreak Studio. Alex, Steve, Mark, I'm Brian. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.